Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is the biggest action star in Hollywood. Literally. The pro wrestler turned action superstar has tied his name to some of the biggest franchises in history, like Jumanji, the DC Extended Universe, and the legendary Fast and the Furious franchise, appearing as Luke Hobbs in Fast 5 Onward, and even getting his own spin-off with co-star Jason Statham. Just like his Fast and Furious alter ego, Dwayne Johnson is obsessed with cars. But unlike other megastars, he's a bit quieter about what he keeps in his collection. Today, we're going to dig deep and see what we can unearth about this megastar's Fast and Furious collection. Rolls-Royce Cullinan. The Rock's a big man, so it makes sense he'd need a big ride. The Rolls-Royce Cullinan once boasted to be the world's most expensive SUV, with a then price tag of about $330,000. Today's models can go for as much as $750,000. That's a hefty chunk of change, but the Rock's is no slouch. The impressive ride boasts a powerful 12-cylinder engine and can push out over 560 horsepower. Big and shiny this ride is, but it'll take you over a mountain. Pretty fitting for a guy called The Rock. The debut of Rocky Maivia. Johnson got his start in the entertainment industry as a professional wrestler. Debuting back in 1996, the man who would soon be The Rock signed with the now defunct WWF, going by the name Rocky Maivia. The young wrestler was an instant fan favorite and won his first championship less than a year later. Sometimes called the Blue Chipper, he quickly gained a reputation as a fierce competitor and gigantic talent, and his taste for powerful performance isn't limited to the ring. Ford Hennessy Velociraptor. The Blue Chipper would be a great name for Johnson's Ford Hennessy Velociraptor. A true powerhouse beauty, the Velociraptor, named after birds of prey and the incredible dinosaurs made famous by Jurassic Park, packs a V8 engine capable of throwing out over 750 horsepower. The full-size pickup has a towing capacity of about 8,000 pounds and is as powerful as it is beautiful. We're beginning to see a theme here. Wonder what that could be about. Honorable mention number 1. The Big Johnson. Everyone loves a pun. The Big Johnson is a custom monster truck debuted by, well, the other Big Johnson during the initial promotional run for Central Intelligence, an action comedy starring Johnson and his perennial best buddy, Kevin Hart. The Big Johnson was debuted during a 2015 partnership event with Omaze and gave 2 lucky winners the rides of their lives. In the truck. Sorry, y'all, he's married. Monster trucks are incredible showmen, kind of like a professional wrestler. They may not be the fastest rides in the world, but they still know how to entertain. It's a pretty good bet he wasn't able to keep this ride, but that didn't stop the BFFs and the lucky contest winners from smashing everything from a moped to a recliner full of potatoes, for some reason, and almost a shed. Rolls-Royce WRAITH. Rolls-Royce is a brand synonymous with fame and luxury, and you could bet Dwayne Johnson is getting in on the action. This beautiful ride is as sleek as it is powerful. Modern models carry a price tag over $300,000, but for that, you're getting a 624 horsepower V12 engine and one of the finest luxury vehicles ever made. Turning heel. Despite his championship status, crowds started to turn on the young wrestler. But the youngest champion in WWF history wasn't going to take that lying down. He returned after healing up from a knee injury and stunned the crowd by joining the Domination Nation, an alliance of the baddest bad boys in the WWF. This marked the first time he started going by TheRock, and the rest is entertainment history. Range Rover Sport. So, this is a bit of a surprise. Range Rover is by no means a cheap brand, but it does seem kind of underwhelming compared to the other hypercars and behemoth rides on this list. And listen. While a 150 miles per hour top speed and just over 350 horsepower just doesn't seem to match up with what we've already seen, keep in mind that The Rock is a big dude. Hypercars and super trucks are great for turning heads and dropping jaws, but sometimes our boy just has to get to work. The Range Rover Sport is a beautiful, sleek, and just inconspicuous enough that Dwayne Johnson can go about his day in relative peace and quiet. And, starting at around $80,000 for a base model, a superstar like The Rock can pay for a few extras to trick it out. While it's not known what he's packing in his mom-mobile, you can bet that this isn't your average soccer ride. Beyond the Domination Nation. After making a name for himself in the WWF and WWE, The Rock started his transition into the Hollywood scene with a bit part as the mutated Scorpion King in the second entry of the Mummy franchise. While the CGI was questionable, the film was successful enough that it gave Dwayne Johnson his first starring role in the 2002 blockbuster spin-off, The Scorpion King. The next few years saw sporadic success for The Rock in other movies, but his first real mainstream success came in 2011 with his breakout role as Luke Hobbs in Fast 5. 1971 Chevelle. Luke Hobbs is big, he's mean, and he's driven. In all his appearances in the Fast and Furious franchise, Hobbs is defined by a massive action set piece that involves mass destruction, a mean truck, and lots of chaos. Most of these rides are designed for military use, but there's one car from the franchise that made its way into The Rock's collection, the 1971 Chevy Chevelle. Okay, technically the cherry red Chevelle Vin Diesel cruises around Baja, Mexico is a 1970 and it's an SS, but we're going to take the win on this one. The 1971 Chevelle, owned by The Rock, is a beautiful car, able to push out respectable, and at the time pretty impressive, 425 horsepower. At the time of its release, the car had a bit of a mixed reception. The changing world of emission regulations and unleaded fuel requirements meant that engine designs had to be completely reworked. And while the Chevelle had some impressive numbers, compared to some of the other beasts released at the time, it wasn't the head of the pack. But time has been kind to Chevelle. Much like The Rock, it's only gotten more appreciated with age. The 1971 Chevelle is a classic muscle car, and just like its owner, has cemented its place as an icon of American culture. The biggest star and heart in the world. After his debut as Luke Hobbs, The Rock was here to stay. He headlined big-budget action movies like Hercules, Pain and Gain, returned in Fast and Furious 6, showed off his singing chops in Moana, and started hitting smash runs with huge titles like Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle and the Baywatch reboot movie. The Rock was now one of the biggest action stars in the world, but he's always remembered his roots. Wrestling was originally a family business, and that mentality has followed him into his work. Tanoi Reed, Johnson's longtime stunt double and cousin, has worked with him for years, and in 2018 was gifted a brand new custom Ford from Johnson as a show of appreciation. We don't know much about this ride, but based on The Rock's taste, you can bet it's something to marvel at. Honorable mention number 2, Ferrari LaFerrari. This gorgeous Italian supercar was leased on the house to the superstar back in 2015 while working on his show Ballers. Honestly, many of the cars on this list, including the Rolls-Royce Wraith and the VELOCIRAPTOR, were gifts to Johnson for use on the show, and they just sort of carried on. Johnson served as one of the show's executive producers in addition to starring as Spencer Strasmore, a retired NFL player trying his hand in a new arena. It's a great watch. Go check it out. The Ferrari LaFerrari is an absolutely gorgeous beast of a ride. Boasting a 6.3-liter V12 engine, it can put out up to 800 horsepower for a top speed of 217 miles per hour. Later models of the car have an electric option. While the car normally comes with a $1.75 million price tag, this 2015 model was a free loaner. Good thing, too. Turns out the sleek and stylish supercar was just too small for Johnson. He put it best when he said, #Daddy still don't fit. Pagani Huayra. Capping off our list is the Pagani Huayra. Now, we've talked a few times about how a big man needs a big vehicle, but sometimes you just have to show off. The Pagani Huayra is among the most expensive cars ever built. With only 100 units ever built, it's also one of the rarest ones. Incidentally, this isn't the first time the Huayra has showed up on our radar. One has also been known to show up in Floyd Mayweather Jr.'s garage. Check out our video on his extensive collection here. Cranking out an impressive 720 horsepower and reaching a blistering top speed of over 230 miles per hour, this is easily the fastest and most impressive car in The Rock's garage. He doesn't bring it out often, mainly because he's a giant guy and this car isn't exactly roomy, but he's been seen many times breaking it out for red carpet events. These events are the biggest spectacles in Hollywood, and if The Rock's shining smile and razor-sharp dress sense don't break necks, the roar of a Pagani Huayra ought to do the trick. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is one of the biggest stars in the world, and he's got a garage stuffed full of vehicles to match. But whether he goes by The Rock, Rocky Maivia, DJ, or just Mr. Johnson, he's never forgotten his roots. His grace and jolly nature are just as impressive as his physique and garage, and we wish him all the best. Thanks for joining us. Like and subscribe for more dives into your favorite celebrities' garages with Car Empire.